Alright guys, it's Rob, Ht42, and I have jumped on the Pt111 G2 train. Feel like this was a out of the ordinary purchase. My dog makes her debut, as always. This is an out of the ordinary purchase for me. I don't think, I may have owned one Taurus in the past and sold it. But just great review after great review on this gun, and so for the price, couldn't pass it up. And I love the initial impressions of the gun. I've only owned it for a couple days, so I haven't got to get out and go shooting yet, but we'll definitely be doing so over this holiday weekend. Was taking a look at the manual, the owner's manual, which I know a lot of people don't do, but I actually try to, and came across this line right here on page 7 that says dry firing is bad for this firearm whether the hammer block is engaged or not. Again, page 7 on the Pt111 instruction manual. Now, why does this matter to me? I don't like to mess with snap caps, but I do dry fire as far as trigger control practice quite a damn bit. I feel like it makes you a better shooter. You can just get a lot of practice if you want to become more proficient at marksmanship through dry firing. And I've done it with all my guns, my Glocks, my Rugers. And when I read that, it initially just kind of threw a red flag for me. Because, as many of you know, the breakdown on this particular firearm, you have to dry fire the weapon in order to take it down. So that really got me thinking. And so I picked up the phone and I called Taurus on this number right here, and I spoke to a young lady named Jennifer, and she explained to me, I asked her about dry firing and told her where I was reading it in the instruction manual. And she explained to me that is correct, that they advise against dry firing the weapon. And I told her why I was asking, because you can't take the pistol down without dry firing it. And she said, well, that's for function. We are told to explain to customers that function testing, it's okay to dry fire the weapon. Taking the pistol down for disassembly, it's okay to dry fire the weapon. But it's not okay to just dry fire the weapon to dry fire the weapon. And so, as a wondering mind, like I have, I had to ask why. Why would you design something that you advise against that's built into the manual of arms? It's built into the takedown. And she said she wasn't sure. She'd put me on hold and she'd find out. So she does so. She comes back after a brief hold and she says, yeah, I was told again that the only time it's okay to dry fire the weapon is for function testing and for disassembly. And that the reason why is because it wears out the firing pin mechanism, was the word she used. And I said, okay, still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I said, I'm going to accept that as an answer because that's what I'm being told from Taurus's customer service department. But it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you would design something that you are telling me is over time going to wear out parts, but that's the design of takedown. No, sir, it's not gonna wear it out if you're taking the weapon down or if you're function testing. It's just gonna wear it out if you're dry firing it just to dry fire it. And I said, okay. I'm not sure how the firing pin is going to distinguish between knowing if I'm function testing or if I am practicing marksmanship. I'm not sure how the firing pin is going to use its brain to say, well, I can wear out on this trigger pull, but I'm not going to wear out on a trigger pull if I'm being function tested. It's going to harm the gun if I'm aiming at a light switch across the room to keep that front sight steady while I'm learning this new trigger. But I'm not going to wear out if I'm being disassembled to be cleaned or be function tested. Makes absolutely no sense to me. If you are a Taurus owner or a Pt111 Millennium G2, longest name of a gun in history, if you're familiar with these guns, if you've ran them a lot, if you have a better explanation for me than Taurus just had for me, please enlighten me. I'm not being an asshole. I'm not being a wisecrack. I'm seriously interested. Like I said, my mind works that way. That's the way I'm wired as to why. I can't just accept an answer for an answer. I have to know why. And are they blowing smoke at me? Is it no damn problem, dry fire till my heart's content? Or is it, sure enough, going to harm the weapon over time? And if so, how the hell did they design it that way? Let me know your thoughts. Other than that, I love the gun. We'll see you around, fellas and sisters.